G'day, my name is Tony Higgs. I've suffered 4 strokes, lost half my eyesight, had some serious medical events in the last few years. That was nothing compared to suffering depression and gut-wrenching anxiety. We'd like you to listen to my story. Hopefully it helps you, a work colleague or a loved one. I've always been a fighter. I'm a survivor. That fighting spirit was very, very important. Tony's a passionate guy. I've got good morals. My handshake is my bond. I love my family, I love work.
Tony, on the outside, he's got that tough guy exterior. On the inside, and I got to know that in travelling with him and working with him, he's a really good guy. He's got a gentle side to him.
He's extremely generous, very much a family man. He thinks of others above himself a lot of the time. In the work setting, he's a construction manager. You know, he's an ex-tradesman, has a lot of responsibility on projects, very task-oriented, and follows up with everything that he commits to, whether that's inside or outside work. Sort of guy that you want to go to war with because you know that he's got your back.
So 2004, I was in Port Hedland actually. Woke up one morning at 4 o'clock, the alarm went off, and I had no idea what happened. I couldn't see the alarm, and I didn't even know why I couldn't see the alarm. I found it, turned it off. Went to clean my teeth, something didn't feel right. Got hold of one of the chiefs at Monadelphous. They sent the safety advisor over, ended up in hospital in Port Hedland, and then I found out when I got back to Perth actually that I had my first stroke. I lost half my eyesight. I had major orientation issues, so I didn't know whether to turn left or right to go to the toilet or to go outside. The damage was done, I was in hospital for a little bit, and then I just took it in my stride. Monadelphous then gave me the grace to go back on the site again. I was up in a place called Yandy, was walking to the mess in the morning, just fell on the ground. And I knew that obviously that I'd had another stroke. Ended up back in hospital, more rehabilitation, that type of stuff. 2013, I went to Malaysia. I was the construction manager on a sizable job for Monadelphous. Halfway through the job, I was brushing my teeth, my jaw locked up, my hand locked up, and I knew that I was having another stroke. I was devastated. My career was going downhill. My wife had only just flown out the day before back to Australia. So I just tried to tough it out. I ended up in Sine Darby Hospital. They'd done some tests, and I'd done a lot of damage to my brain. I went to China in 2014, I think, and in July 2017, I had my 4th stroke. And by then I'd just done so much damage to my brain. Again, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do basics, I couldn't hang pictures, I couldn't dig a hole, I couldn't read a tape measure. But by far, stroke number 4 was the worst for me because I had mental health issues after that for a long, long time. I'm one of those guys that always get through it, but there was just something here that just, it just wouldn't click. Everything was negative. It's my own personal pride that stopped me from seeking help, stopped me from talking to people or even admitting that I had a problem. The anxiety got worse, the depression got worse, and you find this somewhere, some bizarre reasoning to take your own life, those type of things. I have 4 guns. I gave all my guns to my son because I simply didn't trust myself. And there was a peak through my depression and anxiety where I would probably 30 times a day, I think I would have looked at taking my life, those type of things. And the guns were probably, when you think about it, again in hindsight, they're probably the least of my problems because I could have just jumped off my own balcony or ran under a bus. But at least I had enough smarts to get rid of some of those things. So not telling people that I had a problem, not even admitting to myself, they were recipes for disaster.
There was a few catch-ups where I thought, no, there's definitely something different to what it was in the past. to me presented a little bit like a shell of a man, or a shell of the person that he was. And it wasn't until later that it had actually, probably after the moments that he's had with his family and his GP, that he started being a little bit more transparent.
I started to communicate with a next work colleague, and that was the turning point for me. One, just to have that little bit of communication. Sometimes it's not easy to talk to a family member, because your family member sometimes is going to show compassion or too much compassion. I didn't want any of that. I didn't want people feeling sorry for me. So I found it easier sometimes to talk to others. And Karen was very mindful of my own nature. She knew me very, very well. We'd travelled a lot. She kind of knew what made me tick.
When I noticed the changes, it was more of a gradual thing. From time to time, I'd just say, just checking in, how you going? And if he said, yeah, I'm fine, I'd just leave it. If he had a little bit more to talk about, then I'd just try and ask him a bit more. What's exactly going on? Is it something that's happening at the time, or is it negativity in general? And he said, yeah, it's negativity in general. And that's when I knew that that's not Tony at all. So I said, I think you need to get some help.
For so long I suffered this gut-wrenching depression and anxiety. But when I found the trigger to fix it, it just happened so quickly. The recovery from all the so-called doom and gloom that I had in my head was over in weeks. It was amazing turnaround. If you've got a friend, a loved one, a work colleague who you think may be suffering some type of mental illness or mental health issue, then I think you need to be mindful who you talk to, but I think it's imperative that you do something about it. Regardless of the person's nature, you need to do something. You can't just let it go. It's a horrible, horrible disease. I think if people had persisted with me earlier, then I would have been on the road to recovery much, much earlier.
Ready? Here we go. Cheers. All right, there we go.
But it's the warrior who got me through it. It's the fighter. It's never giving up. Take the pain. I did that, and I'm so proud of myself. Whew, sorry. Yeah, I'm very, very proud of myself because it was so tough. And other people can do the same thing. You don't have to be a warrior, you just have to be yourself, and you'll get through it. Yeah, reach out, tell someone, take the first step. Yeah. If someone offers help, take it. Yeah, definitely take it. Yeah.